Dude couldn't even eat his chicken skins in a cell block. Chicken skins. That's right, because a bank robber had all the fried chicken skins on lock. Fried chicken day in the cell block. A lot of people, especially me, because I'll be honest with y'all, fried chicken is my favorite food. Hands down. I love fried chicken, so I'm not giving my chicken skins up. I'm actually, doing my best to try to hustle me some more chicken skins. I got a little money on my book. I'm willing to buy a chicken skin or two, if it makes, me have a better fried chicken day. When I was in the cell block in WCI, which is now called the Rayburn 60 Correctional Institute. This was back in 97. And I was waiting for the chicken skins just like everybody else. But they had this bank robber who was he had a 20-year sentence on bank robbery. They had him down right, but they didn't have him down right. So he took a plea bargain. Dude had that money. I ain't gonna put the dude's name out there, but I do remember him. I used to have conversations with him all the time when we were working in the field. When you work in the field in Louisiana prisons, you gotta find some kind of way to make it a little more, bearable and manageable. So people have conversations and they talk, while the gun guard is sitting there staring at you, waiting for you to do something stupid so he can blast you. Listen, they will fire one shot on the gun line. That's a story for another day. But the second shot, you catching a slug. You catching some lead. Anyway, back to the bank robber and the chicken skins. So this bank robber, who we're gonna call Higgs. Higgs was in jail for this bank robbery charge, and he had 20 years. He had that money too. This wasn't no broke dude, and he wasn't no dumb dude neither. And black dude, and he caught a bank robbery charge up in northern Louisiana somewhere. Anyway, when they caught him, they never did find the money. And I always remember his case. Everybody was talking about his case because the feds started to get involved, but the state took over. I forgot what happened. I don't know how it all went down. I don't remember all the specifics, but I do know that the feds were trying to say if they could find the money or something like that, they would get involved, but the state never could find the money. The state tried to offer the dude a plea deal that they would give him 10, 15 years if he showed them where the money was. And he's like, man, I ain't showing you. He said the only way he was giving up the money is if he got 0 years. And they're like, we can't do that. He said, well, you ain't getting no money. And so this dude did his entire time. And then by the time I met him, he was probably about 10 or 12 years into that 20-year sentence. And they still never got the money. I don't know if feds were waiting for him to get out so they could follow him to the money, but his family didn't know where the money was. He wasn't giving up the information on the money. I don't know whatever happened. I'm assuming this wasn't no dumb dude. He got out and he got the money. But anyway, this dude liked them chicken skins, and he used to convince those dudes who were fiending for nicotine and caffeine and dope. He would convince them that he would buy them some cigarettes or give them some coffee if they gave him their chicken skins. And the dudes would do. He was a fair dude. Higgs was a fair dude. He wasn't trying to strong arm nobody about it. He's a solid dude, handled himself like a professional. So he'll buy them chicken skins. But they had other dudes who were bullies, and they would straight up bully people for chicken skins. Well, I'm in my cell one day with my boy, white dude from Slidell named Snoop. My boy, he's about his business. You know what I mean? Me and him used to trade body shots and, stay practice. He's the one who taught me that. Every Tuesday and Thursday, body shots. You know what I mean? So we'll just fight each other. You can't hit in the face, but you punch each other in the bodies doing body shots, trying to stay prepared in case something kicks off. Anyway, you know what I mean? I'm in the cell with him. We chilling. All of a sudden, you hear this dude. He just came on the tee. He's like, let me get that chicken skin. And the dude he just came in. The other dude been in the cell. And the dude was like, man, you can't get my chicken skins. And the dude was like, I want to eat my chicken skins. He said, man, give me them chicken skins or I'm going to take your whole chicken. And the dude's like, I'll fight you for my chicken. Bow! You just heard a slap. Man, it was a slap. It wasn't even a punch. Dude slapped the dude in the face and said, now you ain't eating the chicken. He took the chicken off the dude's tray. He sat there and ate that dude's chicken skin and his chicken, fried chicken, man. I'm telling you, fried chicken in prison is real. And they got dudes who can't eat no chicken skins, man. I love my fried chicken skin, even in prison, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes I used to pretend like it was Popeyes, you know what I mean? Sometimes I pretend like it was Church's chicken, Sometimes, like Willie Mays in New Orleans, you know what I mean? One of them places, you fried chicken places, man. You got to do your best. My mom ain't never cooked no fried chicken because my mama didn't like to cook. So I had to pretend like it was Popeyes. Man, this is some real stuff. Dudes can't eat no chicken skins. Anyway, I'm in my cell eating my chicken, you know what I mean, enjoying my chicken. And eventually, I remember I became the person I wound up, because they offered a job. I forgot what they call it, because it's not in the kitchen, but in the cell block, they have orderlies, right? And I got a job to where I handed out the chicken trays and the food trays. Every time the food trays came by, I was one of the inmates. They had like about 4 or 5 of us that did pick the trays up, hand the trays out. But when you hand the trays out, you hand the trays out with an officer present, you know what I mean? Because they want to make sure there ain't nobody stealing no extra trays, because they sent the right amount of trays back then. If they get short the trays, of course, they still got to feed the person who's short. And the officers get, reprimanded by the captain on the shift or the lieutenant or whatever. And they're like, why y'all, not doing y'all job and making sure everybody's getting, one chicken tray. Well, so sometimes they would get caught slipping, right? Because sometimes the officers, had other stuff to do, or something would pop off somewhere else and they'd have to run and leave, and you stuck with the trays. And so them dudes be like, give me an extra tray, give me an extra tray. So on chicken day, man, it was a laid out job, man. I mean, because you wasn't in the field, so you just handing out the trays, and you get to pick the food up, and you get to make sure the trays are sent back and everything. So you get out yourself for that, and in the evening time you get to do it, in the morning time. And it was a sweet little gig. But anyway, man, I never did get strong arm and handing nobody extra tray. I stood my ground, never did it. You know what I mean? And they dudes would try to say, bro, you jeffing for the man? Say, white boy, you gonna give me a tray, white boy? Man, I ain't giving you nothing. You know what I mean? Get it in blood. You know what I mean? Whatever. Do what you got to do. But I wasn't getting strong armed on no chicken. I got my chicken tray and I gave everybody chicken tray. Next up, I wasn't picking and choosing chicken tray. But let me tell y'all what really happened. So on fried chicken day, one of my people, he would do from Baton Rouge, my people. I'm saying he wasn't my round, because round means, he'd been from New Orleans area. But he was from Baton Rouge. And I went to hand him a tray, and he says, say, Milk, bro, give me an extra tray. And I'm like, I'm not going to give you no extra tray. He's like, oh, man, come on, bro. You my people, man. I know you got an extra tray. And I'm like, yeah, I got an extra, they got extra trays on there, because sometimes they have extra trays because dudes get rolled out, whatever. So anyway, I gave him an extra tray. Man, don't you know, as soon as I gave him that extra tray, the officer was watching me. He said, hey, you. He said, I saw you get an extra tray. They got the tray from my partner, who I gave the extra tray to. They took me off that job and put me back in the field. So I got played like a duck, 5150, you know what I mean? Head first. I got played, and it wasn't that I got strong arm. It's your own people, right? They know you got the easy gig, and they playing on your heartstring. You my people. We look out for each other, you know what I mean? So I gave my boy the tray. He felt bad after and everything, but the damage was done, So now so now we're in the field, and dudes will be buying chicken skins off each other, right? So and mainly you could buy the chicken skins or the fried chicken from them dudes who have habits like nicotine, caffeine, and dope. And what they would do is dudes will start, auctioning off their chicken skins. So they'd be like, man, who want my chicken skin? Dude be like, man, look, I'm gonna give you 2 cigarettes and 2 fingers of coffee, you know what I mean? And so they're like, yeah, cool. And another dude would be like, man, look, I'm gonna give you 3 cigarettes. And they go back and forth. And so the highest bid would get the dude's chicken skins. And so, yeah, fried chicken is a big deal. You will get shanked behind some fried chicken. I got a video that I did. It's one of my first videos that I ever did on this channel about 2 white boys who shanked up a bunch of dudes in the dormitory on fried chicken day. That's right, up in Allen Correctional Center. And I'm going to put that video at the very end on one of these corners, and you can click on it and check it out, because it was a crazy story that happened where these two white dudes, from Chalmette were getting jacked. Dudes were breaking in their locker, stealing their canteen and stuff, and they got tired of it, and somebody told them who they were, and they stayed back on fried chicken day. And let me tell you something, you got to peep game in prison. If you see somebody laying back in the dorm on fried chicken day, you got to know something's up, because don't nobody miss fried chicken. You seen the movie American Meat, when Magic's going through the line, he's like, come on, Al, give me my pork chop. Where my chops at? And Big Al, he's from Texas, playing them California dudes. He's like, man, ain't no move on, you know what I mean? Using all the racial slurs and everything that happens in prison. But anyway, man, dudes will get busy behind fried chicken. Man, that's some real stuff, man. In the South, dudes like they chicken, dudes like they pork chops, dudes like they rabbit, dudes like they raccoon, dudes like they alligators. Dudes eat anything down here. They eat thistle sticks. We was in prison, dudes were eating thistle sticks like celery. They eat in a field. You know what I mean? So I seen some crazy stuff, man. They had a dude cooked a mouse one time in prison, fried a mouse. Yeah, he built a little fry, cooked that mouse and ate that mouse. Little Venezuelan dude, man. Crazy dude, man. But if you like anything prison and crime related, you're at the right place. Give me a like and subscribe to The Pen and the Shank, the most unusual and unique crime and prison experience on all of YouTube. I promise you, you're going to hear things a little bit different. You ain't hearing about no chicken skins on no other prison channels, but you getting it right here. Man, let's get it.